The big news in the watch world as of March 17th is that Rolex will be closing all of their production facilities for a period of 10 days in an effort to lessen the impact of the illness spreading across Europe and, of course, the world. At the time of this filming, Switzerland is the 9th hardest hit country with 3,067 total cases, and unfortunately, they also have 33 deaths. What's up, YouTube? I'm Guy. I hope you're all doing well today, staying safe, and of course adhering to the recommendations of practicing social distancing as much as possible. And if you are, you probably have plenty of free time on your hands, so hopefully this video can fill a little bit of that time. Today, I wanted to talk about the news of the shutdown in production from Rolex. I also thought that we could talk about what this could mean for Rolex and predictions for new releases in the foreseeable future, which is actually a topic that we discussed on the last Watch Talk livestream and podcast. Speaking of which, if you're not already, go subscribe to the Watch Talk Live channel. I will have a link down below. That's the new channel that I created with my friend AB from Watch Collecting Strategy, where we host our weekly live stream. Those live streams are also converted to podcasts, so you can listen to those on your phone through iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and of course, most of the other major podcast directories. So the news that Rolex has halted production and closed their facilities for a period of 10 days isn't exactly surprising considering the state of the world that we're in right now. We're gonna see a lot more of this sort of thing, I think, both inside and outside of the watch world. I'm sure that a lot of you guys are already starting to feel the effects of this vis-a-vis your workplaces closing shop and maybe sending people home for a few weeks. It has even hit home here for us, where my wife's employer has closed their office for a period of 3 weeks. But here's what has me worried. Whether we're talking about Rolex and their 10-day shutdown, or probably much more importantly, the scope of how this will affect all of us and our jobs moving forward, I don't think that 10 or 14 or honestly even 21 days is the realistic cutoff where everything's suddenly over and everyone can just go back to work. Hey guys, a quick side note, this video is sponsored by my Amazon affiliate link. There is a link down in the description of this video, and if you're thinking about buying anything that I've reviewed in the past, or anything else for that matter, it would really help me out if you hit that link before you do your shopping. I do get a small commission, it doesn't cost you anything extra, and the help would be greatly appreciated in the tough times ahead. I have noticed that a few of you guys have been using that link to do things like grocery and basic necessity shopping on Amazon, along with a few of you buying some new watches, and that is absolutely awesome. Avoiding public shopping spaces as much as possible right now is really smart, and helping me by using that link is very, very greatly appreciated. So guys, will the doors at Rolex be open in 10 days? Probably 8 or 9 days by the time I get this video posted. I really don't think so. I have been following this situation pretty extensively. My belief is that this most likely is going to be a much longer and more drawn out event than a lot of organizations are planning for. Walt Disney World, for example, has said that they'll close through the end of the month, or about 15 days total. Now, it's just my opinion. Call it my gut feeling if you want, whatever, but I don't think there's a very strong chance that Disney, Rolex, or unfortunately even my wife's work will be opening back up inside of a few weeks. I'm not gonna sit here playing fortune teller and spewing predictions about how I think this will play out over time on the world stage. I don't think that that really does anybody any good, and I don't have any more insight into the future than anyone else. But as for how I think it relates to Rolex, I will say that hoping to reopen inside of 10 days feels a little bit like having their head in the sand if they believe that really is gonna happen. Now, how does that relate to their upcoming releases for the foreseeable future? We discussed the topic of Rolex release predictions on our latest Watch Talk livestream. So again, go to the new channel and subscribe to that. But I'll rehash some of that here and add some new thoughts on that topic. So as we know, Baselworld was canceled, which is where and when we would have expected them to announce their upcoming product releases for the 2020 calendar year. At that time, I think most people felt like Rolex would probably still release new watches this year, but if I'm being honest, I wasn't so sure. On one hand, these release schedules and production cycles are probably planned years in advance, and the idea that the train is already going down the tracks and you can't really stop it has some merit. But I've also been following the enormity of the global situation that is bearing down on us, and it gave me some serious doubts as to whether or not brands would pull back and put a hold on most of their planned releases this year. In light of where we are today, I think it's increasingly more likely that we won't see any significant release news in the near future. And I also don't think that we're very likely to see Rolex watches going back into production anytime soon either. However, my fingers are crossed that I'm wrong, and that my feeling that a lot of people are downplaying the current state of affairs is nothing more than my inherent pessimism. Now, eventually, like all things, this too will pass, and sooner or later, Rolex will release their next models. And what are my predictions on that? Well, again, I encourage you to go listen to the full discussion of this topic on our last live stream, but I'll rehash a little bit of it here. First and foremost, what everyone wants is a new Submariner. Last year they teased the new dive watch and everyone thought it was going to be the Submariner. It turned out to be the Yachtmaster, which, by the way, I called. A year or two before that they teased the dive watch and everyone thought it was going to be a Submariner again, but it turned out to be the Sea Dweller 43. So what will they do next? Well, if I'm going to be honest, I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to tease a new watch that won't be the Submariner everybody wants. Now, what it might be is a new model Submariner in either a very expensive precious metal configuration, like they did in 2008 with the white gold Smurf as a debut for the new model. Or it could be a new Submariner with nothing but a movement update. But I am super confident that it will not be a new, redesigned Submariner in stainless steel, the watch that everybody is hoping for. What I would love to see them do, but I don't expect that they will, is give the Rolex Explorer a little bit of a refresh. The overall size, scale, and proportions of the 39mm Explorer just never fully clicked with me, and I think with a few minor tweaks, they could perfect the watch. Maybe scale back the overall size just a hair. Give the smooth bezel a little bit of a trim around the edges and make it a bit less broad. Scale down the dial and free up all of the unused negative space, and ideally, maybe even give us a version of the glide lock clasp. If they do all of that, I am the first person in line on a waiting list. Other than that, I don't know what they're gonna do. Probably just a bunch of stuff that the majority of us won't really care about. And given what's happening in the world right now, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't really care what they do at the moment anyway. We all have much more important things to concern ourselves with right now. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up for today. Don't forget about the Amazon affiliate link down below, and a big thanks to everyone that's been using it. Also, go subscribe to the new Watch Talk live channel and join us for future live streams. We'd love to have you all over there. Finally, be safe, stay healthy, and of course, don't forget to wash your hands.